Hi, everyone. I'm Cecilia Curtis, and I want to welcome you to the Friendship Tour, where we talk about the true gift of friendship with some of my truest friends. Today's guests are my best friend, Lauren Gray, and my friend in law, Tolibah Davis. You first met Lauren in the very first episode of the Friendship Tour, episode 1, season 1, and you first heard of Tolibah in that same episode. So it just seemed fitting for me to kick things off on season 2 with Lauren and Tolibah to talk about our unique relationships and explore the friend in law topic just a bit further. Hi, Lauren.
Hi, Cecilia.
Welcome back.
Thank you for having me.
Hi, Tolibah.
Hi, Cecilia. Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you for being here. Thank you for doing this. I'm so excited. I say that all the time, but I'm genuinely excited every time I say it. But this is the first time I've had two guests at the same time on the podcast. So I'm really nervous and excited and a bit surprised. I feel left out. I didn't know y'all were going to be in the same room. I mean, like Tolibah, you live in Maryland, and Lauren, you're in Virginia, and now I just feel left out in California. But
But you're here in spirit.
I'm here in spirit. I'm right
Yes.
here.
It's an East Coast thing. It was just a little easier.
Yeah.
So
That's true. That's true. I love seeing you together. Hopefully soon the three of us can be together. That would be fun.
Yes.
Absolutely.
That would be fun.
Yes.
Well, I always like to tell everyone how the guests and I met. But at this point, Lauren, it's your third episode. So, like, for the new listeners, we'll just say, for the new listeners, we'll say that Lauren is my best friend. We met in second grade. She forgot about me in third and fourth grade. But we've been best friends ever since. So let's meet Tolibah. Tolibah's from San Pedro, California, but she now lives in Gaithersburg, Maryland. So she's kind of the opposite of me. She's a West Coaster living on the East Coast, and I am an East Coaster living on the West Coast. I think Tolibah, I don't really exactly know when we met. Did we meet at Hampton or did we meet later? I don't know. Maybe you can help me.
Sure. I believe it was in Hampton.
You think we met at Hampton?
Yeah. When Lauren and I were roommates, I think that you came to visit.
Okay.
And that's when I think that we met.
Okay.
And I don't remember that.
I kind of thought maybe I met you, but our relationship wasn't solid until later. But I think you're right. I think we met at Hampton. I did visit once, maybe. I think it was homecoming weekend. And I was like, ooh, HBCU experience.
Yes.
But yeah, I think we met then. I don't remember an actual meeting moment. I apologize. I don't. But I love you. I love you now.
Yes.
That's what matters. Well, Lauren is actually the center of this whole thing. Like, she's the center of my relationship with Tolibah. You're the glue that holds us all together, Lauren. So I thought it would be fun to try something new. Actually, Lauren thought it would be fun to try something new and different.
Okay.
Lauren is going to put Tolibah and me in the hot seat when it comes to this discussion. She's going to be the one asking all the questions, and I'm going to sit back and do my best to answer. So are you ready, Lauren?
I am ready.
Okay.
You're ready.
Let's do it.
Sizzle, sizzle.
Let's do
it. Okay. So I'll start off with Cecilia. Since the topic of this episode is friend-in-law, can you give your definition of what you think a friend-in-law is?
It is a completely made up relationship. One that I made up for Tolibah, because I think we have words to describe, like our best friend, our husband, and then we have the people who are important to our spouses, sister-in-law, brother-in-law, mother-in-law. Tolibah is your other best friend. And for that reason, she's very special to me. But Tolibah and I have never had like a one-on-one relationship. We're cool. We love each other. But she's your other best friend. And that makes her special to me. I don't think it's appropriate for me to call her my best friend or your friend. So friend-in-law was invented. She's my friend-in-law.
I remember when you said that at first, and I thought it was funny, but then I immediately thought that it was so fitting. So,
Hmm. Hmm.
Taliba, what do you think?
Yes.
What is your definition of a
Mm.
friend in law?
I want to echo what Cecilia said about giving a meaning and a definition for those that are important in your life in a different aspect. Um, but this is a friend in law. So you get to, and the laws are dictated by us about what makes that person a friend. So
Yes.
I hope I answered that. I don't think I did. I was like, I echo what Cecilia said.
You did. It's
Yes.
basically a term of endearment. It's a
Mhm.
term of
It's a
endearment
term of endearment.
because
Yes.
I feel like if I say Taliba is Lauren's friend, if I just say that for the rest of my life, Lauren's friend Taliba, it doesn't feel warm. It doesn't feel
Yes.
loving. It feels
Yes.
distant.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I don't know, saying friend in law feels like, okay, she's special to me
Mhm.
too, just in a
Yes.
unique type of relationship.
I agree.
What
Okay.
advice do you have or recommendations do you have for people bringing two different friends or friend groups together?
That's a good question. Do we have a timer? Do I can I time limit to
I'll start
um
singing if you
please do.
go on
Please
too
do.
long. Dun, 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 dun. No.
Um I think that first you have to define what friendship is. You
Mhm.
define what you think a friend is, how your dynamic is with that person, then you can extend your dynamic to include groups of other people. And, you know, I think
It's
that's what I
deep.
think. It's deep. It be like,
that's
right? It be like.
that's the counseling
Look at that.
the
I'm
counselor
counseling.
answer.
Okay, I'm sorry. But the cutting right to the chase and being very transparent. We don't own each other. So when
Yeah.
you say to yourself, how is this person to me? Then you're not shy to invite another person in because you're not like, oh, that person's not supposed to do that. They're not supposed to do that. This person can do whatever they want, just like you can do whatever you want. But you have to, when you decide to introduce another friend or when you want to be a friend with someone else, check on your other friend.
Yeah. Yeah. You said something about, I don't know if this is what you said. I'm paraphrasing, figuring
Okay.
out what your vibe is with your friend before you can
Hmm.
invite someone else in. And what I was thinking to kind of piggyback off that was like, be realistic, know who your friend is, and have some idea of who they're going to vibe with and who they're not. You
Yes.
know, sometimes we just aren't thoughtful about, is this person going to go with this person? And
Yes.
sometimes it fails
Mm.
because of the friend that's in the middle. Like it's just not going to work. Sometimes we're surprised and we think two people who aren't going to get along are great together. Um, but sometimes you can see it coming that it's not going to work and you still love both of them and you are like, oh, let's just see what happens. I don't know.
Mm.
You know, I think you also need to be, the friends who are being brought together need to be respectful. You know, I've known Lauren since we were little kids. Taliba, you've known Lauren since college days. We both love her. We just happen to meet at different times.
Right.
And I respect that. There are a lot of things a lot of memories and history that you two have together that I don't have. I can't, there's no point in me being jealous about it. I just wasn't there. It wasn't meant for me to have those experiences. So if I can just step back and be like, okay, I'm not threatened by their relationship. There's no jealousy. It's all love. As long as you're respectful to Lauren and you're respectful to me and you respect our relationship, we're not jealous of one another. I think it's all good. I think it's cool.
I think you summed it up really, really well
Mm-hmm.
when I was reflecting on this part as far as, what does that mean to share a friend? And you said it, there's no animosity, there's no jealousy. But one question I did have, how does it feel when you hear me talk about Taliva, or that she's like my other bestie? Um, what does that? How does that make you feel?
It makes me feel great. It does. And I'm happy to see the two of you together. A little bit jealous today. Like I talked about not being jealous, but I
Yeah,
think
that's
today I was like, "Ooh, they didn't even tell me they were going to be together." I think I think
It
that's
was
what
supposed to
happened.
be a surprise.
It was definitely a surprise. It was definitely a
yeah.
surprise. But no, I feel really, really happy, and I can tell you why. Um, I did. I got married younger. I moved away. So I've always kind of felt like I'm the person that can't, I mean, this is sad to say it this way, but I often feel like I'm the person who can't be there physically for people. I'm always far away. I'm far away from my family. I'm far away from you. I'm far away from the friends who, maybe I met them in Germany or Japan, but now we're all far away. So it's comforting to me to know that you have someone who can get to you within a couple of hours. I can't. I'm always far away. I'm back in the United States now, but I'm a phone call away, but I'm still like a solid plane ride away. And it's nice to know that you have a friend who, if you're in need, she's going to get in a car and she's going to be there. She's going to be there for the weekend. And I saw that for the first time. And, I never really told you this, Taliba. I don't know if I've told you this, Lauren, either, but I think part of the reason I love you so much, Taliba, when I was young, I got married, I moved away. I lived in Ohio, and Lauren's mom got sick. And we've talked about that on other episodes. But Lauren's mom got sick, and it was clear talking to Lauren that Lauren's an only child. I hope you don't mind me telling people that, Lauren. But Lauren's an only child, and you have a great family, great relationship with your cousin, but you're an only child. And it was really evident in your voice that you needed a friend when your mom got sick. And I was young, I lived far away, I didn't have that much money. Um, so a last minute plane ticket was difficult. Like it was difficult to just be like, I'm getting on the plane. I had a job, but I was new to the job. So I didn't have a lot of vacation days. So I couldn't just be like, okay, it's Tuesday. I'm coming. I'm going to be there tonight, because then I didn't have vacation days for the rest of the year if I did that. So I did what I did to get there, but it took me a couple days to work it out. And when I got to Philadelphia, I rented a car. I drove straight to your mom's house. And gosh, I'm such a goofball. Like this is why I ask the questions. But when I got to your mom's house, and the door opened, it was Taliba. It was Taliba who opened the door. And she opened the door because she was there. Like she got there first. And we both love you. And we both knew that you needed a friend. And she was there. And when I say I couldn't remember when we met, like I thought maybe we met in college, but when I really, really know that I met Taliba and I saw the kind of friend she was, I saw her heart, I saw her loyalty and commitment and love for you, it was that weekend. I don't know how long we were together, like 2 nights, maybe 3 nights at the most, but she was there. She opened the door. For some reason, she had like a trash bag full of stuff in her hand. Like, I don't know. I don't know what was going on,
It was,
but she
yeah.
opened the
Yeah.
door and she was
Yeah.
just so loving and so warm. And she gave me a big hug. And I don't know where you were, Lauren. I think you were resting. And that made me feel good to know that because Taliba was there, you could rest. I mean, I think you were upstairs asleep. And I knew that you weren't sleeping well through that season. And then that night, I don't know if you remember this, Taliba, but that night, you and I stayed up and we talked in the kitchen for like the whole night. I don't know, but Lauren,
I
you weren't
wasn't there.
you weren't. I mean, you were in the
Oh
house,
wow.
but you were
Yeah.
asleep.
Yeah.
So Taliba and I stayed up and
Yeah.
talked. We talked about our dreams, like literal dreams, and what our dreams meant. And I felt like we had spiritual breakthroughs understanding
Yeah.
our
Yeah.
dreams. And we talked about our goals for life. And we talked about you and we talked about your mom. And I mean, we just bonded ourselves. We bonded ourselves that night. Um, but when you ask how I feel when I know you and Taliba are together, I'm always going to love Taliba. Always. Because she's
Thank you.
there, because she was there when it counted. Like, who am I to come in and be like, oh, so you're hanging out with Taliba? That's
Mhm.
dumb. I mean, why would I not want you to have love and support, particularly if I know I can't provide it? I can't be there, but she can, and I'm thankful for that.
Oh, thanks, Cecilia, for sharing that.
I think that takes an amount of
Yes.
emotional maturity,
Mm-hmm.
because I don't know that everyone would see it that way. I think that's
Right.
absolutely beautiful what you
Yes,
just
yes,
said.
absolutely.
I did not know that you guys stayed up all night, or
Yes, yes, I
talking
know.
and kind of connecting. That time of my life was very difficult, and I didn't know what I needed. And to have you both there, it was great, but I was also a little apprehensive because I was like, I don't know how they're going to be together.
Mm-hmm.
They know of each other, but
Mm-hmm.
you guys being together, I guess for the weekend it was, but it was in a horrible time for me. It was one of the most memorable weekends of my life because I had what I didn't know I needed, but I had my girls there to support me. And the fact that you guys got along and just had me, just embraced me and loved me and let me cry and talk and whatnot, it was just beautiful for me to see, and you guys handled it so well. So I don't know, I think I've thanked you guys, but it's just I'm very grateful.
You're very welcome.
You are.
You're very
You are.
welcome. That and
Yeah.
that's very true. It was emotion. It is an emotional maturity. And are you sure it was a trash bag that you saw, or the small green bag?
It was
Remember,
the small green
small
bag
green
What
bag that I
was
had stuffed all my
that was
stuff
stuffed to.
okay?
to maximum
What
Yeah,
what was the
capacity.
yeah, it
green
was.
bag then? What was
It
it? Was
was
like your
my
suitcase?
suitcase, right? And you
Oh,
were
okay.
like, "Oh, what's in that?" And I was like, "Oh, I have this, I have this, I have this." You're like, "What else is coming out of the bag?" I was like, "Oh, this and this and this and this." Yes,
Okay.
it does. It is a that's what I think you were like. Hmm.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm
It,
sorry. I thought I didn't remember what kind
mhm,
of bag. I just knew it was a bag of
mhm.
things. So
Right.
many things.
That's
Like
me.
a
Yeah.
clown
Hmm.
bag. It was like a
Right.
bag of so many things.
Right.
Um,
Everywhere.
For some reason, I remember that too. I
Hmm.
don't know if it was that was like the same night, but I remember Cecilia being
Yes.
kind of taken aback by the fact
Yeah.
that there was
Whoa.
like
You're like,
there was all
whoa.
this energy
yes.
coming at her, and then like all this stuff.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And that's another thing to kind of highlight or say that Taliba has a lot of energy,
A lot.
and Cecilia and I tend to be more reserved.
Yeah.
So, but it makes for
Oh,
a good
it
mixture.
makes for a good
Yeah.
I think
mixture.
So,
there's
Absolutely.
balance. I think there's
yeah,
balance that way.
That is that balance.
yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I know, right?
And, I guess back to what advice would you have for people who are trying to bring friends together?
Hmm.
You were definitely there first, Taliba. And in some ways, I felt like when I got to the house, I needed to fall back. I don't know if I've ever really thought about it or expressed it that way,
Mm.
but it would not have made sense for me to arrive a day later or 2 days later. I don't remember how much earlier you got there, hours later, but it wouldn't have made sense for me to come in all late and then be elbowing, like, I'm here now, I'm here. Like, that wouldn't have
Yes.
made sense.
Yes.
So I did, I do think in some situations, people create these impossible situations for their friends when they're like, well, she wasn't respectful to me. She wasn't respectful to me.
Right.
Well, if you're in that friend's environment, maybe you're the one who needs to fall back, and you got
Right.
there first.
Mm.
So I
Mm.
needed to fall back. And that's
Wow.
okay. That's
I
okay.
think that's a great observation.
Yeah, that is definitely.
Because, and it makes me think also too, when you're talking about bringing friends together,
Mhm.
the foundation should always be respect.
Right. Right.
for each
Mm-hmm.
other, and then for the group that
Right.
has assembled, and then
Right.
understanding, like
Mm-hmm.
understanding each other.
Right.
Me being the middleman, understanding
Yes.
how you are, understanding how you are,
Right.
Cecilia,
Right.
and then, still treating everyone with love.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I think all of those pieces go
Mm-hmm.
together
Right.
to
Right.
create um, another friendship.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's true. That's true. Because that other friend knows a different aspect of that friend's life
Right.
that you don't know about. And so you're like, oh, wow, you want to hear the stories, like the stories that Lauren tells when you all were, when you are little, were hilarious. I was like, tell me more. Oh, my goodness. And so when, speaking with you, it was kind of like, oh, wow, now there's the person to match with those memories and the stories that brought Lauren all that joy.
Hmm.
Mm.
Yeah, I think you have to assume if your friend is friends with someone else that there's some reason they like them. There's
Very
something
true.
that brought them together. And I might not see it. I do see it with you, Taliba, but I'm like, I might not see it, but there's some reason that they like each other and get along. And I don't know, can I just be cool about it for 20 minutes or an hour or lunch or,
Mhm.
whatever it takes? Just be cool and respect that. Respect whatever your friend sees in her other friend.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because if I respect
that's
you as a
true.
friend, then whoever else you've brought to lunch or into, the
Hmm.
situation, because they're associated with you, then, or
Right.
you, that I'm going to think, oh, they're good people.
Yeah.
Hmm. Right.
So
Right.
um, that's going to be my first thought.
Yeah. Yeah,
Mm.
that the way that
That
you
is.
just said it made me think of the word
Mhm.
trust. Like you
Mm,
Ooh.
The way that you just said it makes it sound like you're leading with trust instead of leading
mhm.
with distrust.
Yeah.
Instead of assuming this person is shady or, I don't know, I'm gonna have to see about her. No, I'm gonna trust that my friend made a decent decision because
Yes.
she
Yeah.
picked me. Like, so maybe she picks
Yes.
other good people.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, but I
Yes.
hear a lot of people talk about like you can't trust nobody. You can't trust everybody.
Mhm.
Those are true statements. You can't trust everybody, but it sounds like in some situations leading with trust just has a great outcome. I don't know.
Mhm.
Great outcome.
Mhm.
Yeah. I
I like
agree.
that. I
Yeah.
agree as well. Hmm.
Good stuff,
I tell you, you
ladies.
would be like a grounding friend. You're like the ground. You ground it. Take it right there and just center everybody. I like that. That's good.
I don't know that that's true, but
Oh.
um I think this conversation is funny because it's actually quite misleading. People don't understand how funny you are, Taliba. People are not people are not understanding how outgoing you are. Taliba walks in a room and she's like, "I'm here."
Hey.
And I love that. There's so much laughter and joy. And before we turned on the microphones, Taliba was funny. She was like, I'm gonna try really hard to be contained and to be like
I am.
reserved. And I don't know why. I mean, you're just hilarious. So aside from being a great friend to Lauren, I think you're hilarious. And I'm drawn to that in you. I'm drawn to how committed you are as a friend, but just how amazing you are as a person.
Thank you,
So I love
Cecilia.
that. I love that about you.
Thank you. All these wonderful compliments. Thank you. Oh, thank you. I'm
Yeah,
trying
she's
not to
so quiet.
run around. You'd be like, yes, yay, thank you. Yes. Yes, I'm trying to hold it together. Thank you so much.
It's
Yes,
all
yes,
true. All
yes. I
true.
appreciate it.
This has been such
Thank
a fun
you.
conversation. I'm glad
Yes,
we
I
I'm
love
glad
it.
we
Yes.
finally like pulled it together that you
Yeah.
ladies were in the same room and got to hang out together this weekend.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you, Taliba, for being my friend-in-law. Thank you, Lauren, for being
Thank
my
Yay.
you.
best friend. I think you're both great. I will
Thanks, Cecilia.
acknowledge that the friend-in-law experience is not for everyone. I would say that it's definitely more of an exception than the rule. But
Mm.
if your friend wants you to meet her other friends, just give it a shot, give it a try. Be open to it, be respectful, and even be willing to fall back as needed. That's all for today.
Yay.
Okay. Join us next time on the Friendship Tour.